Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Saudi Arabia on a two-day visit. It is his second visit to the kingdom in the span of 3 years. The visit opening a new chapter in relations between the two countries. Narendra Modi met Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The Indian Prime Minister and the Saudi King also will be signing key agreements aimed at elevating the India-Saudi Arabia partnership to the strategic level. Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister held a meeting with Abdul Rahman bin Abdul Mohsen Al Fadli, who is the kingdom's Minister of Environment, Water and Agriculture. He also held talks with Mohammed bin Salman Al Raji, the Labour and Social Development Minister of Saudi Arabia. These are part of a long list of meetings that the Prime Minister is taking part in as a part of that crucial visit. Without a doubt, the highlight will be the Future Investment Initiative Forum, also called Davos in the Desert, where Prime Minister Modi is the keynote speaker. But this visit will also witness him holding talks with various stakeholders in the Saudi royal family, a sign of deepening ties between the two countries. At the top of the list, of course, is Crown Prince Mohammed Bin Salman, who holds the reins of power in the kingdom. Prime Minister Modi will hold a bilateral with the Crown Prince at around 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. This will be the 5th time the two would be meeting. Ahead of the encounter, Prime Minister Modi said, and I'm quoting, "I recall with warmth my previous meetings with him and look forward to meeting him again during this visit. I'm confident that under the leadership of His Majesty King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed Bin Salman, bilateral relations between India and Saudi Arabia will only grow stronger." It is a packed schedule for Prime Minister Modi in the run-up to the meeting with the Crown Prince. He is scheduled to have multiple engagements with ministers of the Saudi regime, including ministers of energy, foreign affairs and other ministers. The strategic cooperation between the two countries remaining a high priority, as highlighted by Prime Minister Modi in his interview to the Arab News. He said that India and Saudi Arabia shared common strategic interests and that he was satisfied with the level of cooperation between the two sides, especially in the field of counter-terrorism. And this is where the signing of the Strategic Partnership Council agreement comes in. In the Prime Minister's own words, the creation of the Partnership Council will elevate the ties between the countries to a whole new level. And then there is oil, of course. India's energy requirements are on the rise and the kingdom has been more than happy to oblige. India imports around 18% of its oil from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Aramco, UAE's ADNOC and Indian public sector oil companies are jointly developing are jointly developing the $44 billion West Coast refinery in Raigad, Maharashtra, of course, which is the single largest greenfield refinery in India. An Indian company, Reliance, also announced that Saudi Aramco, one of the most valuable and profitable companies in the world, will take a 20% share in RIL's oil and chemical businesses at a value of whopping $75 billion. Saudi Arabia is also looking to participate in India's strategic petroleum reserves. The Prime Minister held a meeting with the kingdom's energy minister, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman Al Saud, where all these issues would likely have come up. He is the 4th son of King Salman and the first royal to ever hold the portfolio of energy. And joining us on the broadcast this minute is our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, joining us live from Riyadh. Also joining us is Hassan Al Hassan, a West Asia analyst and associate fellow at International Institute for Strategic Studies, joining us from London. Thanks very much. First to you, Siddhant, what's the latest that you're picking up from on the ground? A number of issues that are on the table. The Prime Minister has also spoken very highly of the meetings that have already taken place.
Well, Molly, the address by the Indian Prime Minister is going to start shortly, approximately in about 1.5 hours' time. And even as we speak, he is meeting the King of Saudi Arabia. I'm standing inside the Ritz-Carlton Hotel where this investment meeting is taking place. And the focus of the Indian Prime Minister's speech will be everything why India is one of the favorite destinations, why India is a growing economy, the ease of doing doing business in India. We have seen numbers coming from the World Bank, and of course the Saudi side will also be keen to showcase their country's reforms. And of course this summit is taking place, this investment meeting is taking place as part of the Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, which aims to diversify the economy, because largely this economy is oil based, and as oil finishes, the country, the leaders are keen to diversify into other sectors, and that is why they're keen to have more and more Indians. Remember, this country hosts lots of Indian community, and for that the Indian Prime Minister is focusing on the Rupee card initiative, and also on making sure that their situation on the ground is good. Remember, kafala system is something that has been criticized by New Delhi, because that impacts the workers. For that, there will be an amalgamation of the Indian e-migrate system with the Saudi counterpart. So clearly the plate is full.
Absolutely, lots on the table. Stay with me, Siddhant. Also getting in Hassan Al-Hassan onto the conversation. The Future Investment Initiative is a crucial part of that visit. It's been called the Davos in the desert, very rightly so. What do you think the outcome, the expected outcome would be as far as the objectives of both the sides are concerned?
Of course. Thank you and good afternoon. The Future Investment Initiative for Saudi Arabia is, of course, a wonderful opportunity to promote investments, but it's also much more than that from the Saudi perspective. I think it's convening power as a key hub for the entire region. And of course, having someone like Prime Minister Modi, who's the leader of a very large G20 nation, deliver the keynote address, very much reinforces that message. It reinforces the credibility of Saudi Arabia as a key regional hub. I think, conversely, for Prime Minister Modi, appearing in Riyadh at this time also enables him to send some very good positive messages for his own government, both domestically in India and externally. Of course, this is especially following the controversial abrogation and the decision on Jammu and Kashmir. So for Prime Minister Modi to appear in Riyadh at this time, I think this enables him to say with some credibility that the decision has not harmed India's relations with key Muslim nations such as Saudi Arabia. But I think crucially it also enables him, it's a good opportunity for him to inject momentum into large-scale planned Saudi investments into the Indian economy, especially in the area of downstream oil and gas. So we've all heard about the deal with Reliance Industries purchasing a stake of its petrochemicals and refining business worth reportedly up to $15 billion. Saudi Aramco's joint project with Abu Dhabi's ADNOC to build a gigantic refinery on the western coast of India and Maharashtra. So I think this will be a key moment for Prime Minister Modi to be able to inject further momentum, further dynamism into these investments.
Right, and Siddhant, you've been speaking to various experts on the ground as well, and delegation members from the two sides. What's your assessment of what the mood is looking like on the ground, and the deepening of the ties between the two sides, of course, which has been the larger objective of that crucial visit of the Indian Prime Minister?
Well, in fact,
a broader...
Right, Hassan, I'll just come back to you. Yes, Siddhant, go ahead.
Saudi Arabia, who talked... So he talked about the relationship between India and Saudi Arabia. He said that Riyadh is keen to have a stronger bond with New Delhi, given the fact that it's a large country in the region. It's a growing economy and can help Saudi Arabia, especially when they are changing the course of the economy, the trajectory of the economy. And one important thing that has come out in past few months is years is the fact that India has been able to wean away Saudi Arabia, UAE and Jordan, three of key allies of Islamabad, into its own fold. We have seen muted responses also ever since the application of Article 360, and by and large there hasn't been any major reaction even from the Organization of Islamic Countries. We have seen there are countries like Maldives who have come out openly in support of New Delhi. So there's a changing dynamics, and the world, of course, the countries in West Asia do do recognize, especially Saudi Arabia, do recognize the role India is playing, and that is why Saudi Arabia is keen to have New Delhi on its side. In fact, last year when the G20 summit took place in Argentina, the first leader the Crown Prince met was the Indian Prime Minister, and Indian Prime Minister has been meeting the Crown Prince at various occasions. In fact, both the countries are part of the G20 grouping, and Saudi Arabia is going to host the G20 next year, and then of course we know India is also going to host the G20 a few years from now. So there will be more engagements that are expected to happen, and this is just a start. And the fact that Indian Prime Minister has been invited to speak at this event, this summit, which is crucial for Saudi Arabia's leadership and for its economy, shows the place where New Delhi occupies in the Saudi worldview.
Right, Hassan, you were wanting to come in there, and just closing remarks from you. We're completely out of time.
Yes, so I just wanted to say that this has to be understood in the context of intensifying relations between Gulf and South Asia. So, of course, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was in New Delhi and in Islamabad in February. This is Saudi Arabia is the third country that Prime Minister Modi visits this year, following his visit to the UAE and Bahrain. So this is a growing area. And, of course, it also carries a security dimension. We've heard talk of joint naval Indo-Saudi naval exercises that might be taking place in December, as well as the preceding visit by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in Riyadh. So which says that the security component of the relationship is also growing, maybe not as fast as energy, but we might be seeing some progress there as well.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Hassan, thanks very much for those perspectives. Also, Siddhant Sibal getting us the very latest from Riyadh. Thanks very much. We'll, of course, keep a close eye on the latest coming in from there.
From energy to Rupee card, from defense to situation of Indian workers, all will be in focus as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Saudi Arabia. This is his second visit to Saudi Arabia since 2016. Follow me, Siddhant Sibal, for all the live and latest updates on the Indian Prime Minister's visit to Saudi Arabia, only on Wion.